So the beginning of this video is gonna look incredibly different than the rest of this video, but I hope you forgive me. It's gonna look stupid. Black people, we're lazy. I can't. I think I've done it. I put together an amazing compilation of how to identify the enemy of America. All right, we know we all been infiltrated. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is common knowledge. Everybody agrees. Talk to anybody. You're like, hey, you think our government's corrupt? They're like, yes, right? And they're hiding in plain sight. And then they got their puppets in office that we can't touch. But if you can spot one just by the way they move, right, you cannot listen to these people and you can go live your life. And then if enough people do that, maybe we could start voting again and it'll actually work, because we'll vote in good people who actually care and are honest, like, and we'll be Republican, obviously, because anything Democrats touch disintegrates. So they're obviously the enemy. It's the left. We're in the era of the radical left, and people don't even realize it. There's authoritarians. We have authoritarians in office right now. We didn't under Trump. That's why our America's great. But it's more accurately the leftists. Rhinos are also considered leftists, Republican in name only. The key sign to spotting a leftist is by looking straight into their spirit. All right, and this is how you identify the spirit, because that's the spirit of evil. It's Satan. That's the party of Satan. There's nothing good about them. I promise you. I promise you. I looked. Everything they do is bad. All they want are the wrong things. They call evil good and good evil. In the Bible, it says Satan will be locked away for 1,000 years, and then he will come out again. Okay, we've been on this earth for at least 2,000 years. Take that with how you will. Take that how you will. The Bible, I don't know if it's purely true or not, but it's definitely the lore of the world, right? Because multiple civilizations have built things that were here before you were born. You watching this, it was here before you were born. And so by all intents and purposes, like, it might as well have came from God, because nobody alive built it, and it still works today. Our government still runs today, so it's by God. That's the idea, and that's America. So, but those people don't believe in God, they're evil. I promise you, they're evil. This video will prove that too. It's just evil stuff. There is good and evil, and Democrats are definitely not good. Abortion is not good. Cutting off your body parts is not good. But taxes are not good. It's theft. But like, just the spirit right in them is that spirit of telling you what to do. They want to tell you what to do. They're trying to control you. They want to tell you what to do. They want you to act the way they want you to act. And whenever somebody wants to tell you what to do, it's evil, right? That's why evil comes through the woman, because every woman's a mom, and most people, to live for their entire first existence, being their entire first stage of existence, being a child, you have to listen to your mother, or you very well could have died if you didn't eat when she tried to feed you, right? It's fundamental stuff. But yeah, that's why evil works through the woman. If you were wondering, leftists are really obsessed with these gotcha moments, because they're trying to protect their reputation, because people who want to tell you what to do needs to look better than you to tell you what to do, right? And so they think these gotcha moments is their reputation. I don't know. They're weird. They're dumb. It doesn't make any sense over there. I honestly, I could not explain to you fully these gotcha moments phenomena, because all it shows is that you're a liar. First off, that's all it shows, is that you're a liar. And second, it tells me that you don't believe what you're actually saying.
I just showed you this. What is this? We know how many people are going to get, according to this, the top doctor in Alberta, this is the numbers there. And we know it gives people myocarditis. That's why all those countries stopped using the Moderna one. But if you had your way, you would have mandated people get that one, and they would have got, what do you mean, wait a minute? That's true, right?
If I had my way.
Okay. You would mandate everyone get the vaccine, right? If you had your way, you would mandate everyone get it, right?
If I had my way, I mandate it?
Yeah.
I would hope everybody would do the right thing.
Yeah, but would you if they didn't?
Yeah, I would mandate it. There, you got me. Oh, you got me.
I'm just asking you a straight question, Graham. I'm not trying. That's not a gotcha. I'm asking. That's a straight up question.
This, Jimmy.
How is that a gotcha question? That's just a question. Would you mandate it for everybody if you had the power to? And you said you would. And I'm like, well, we know people are going to be getting injured from it all over, and
we know people are going to die from COVID. More people are going to die.
Yeah, but that's up to them to decide. You can't decide someone else has to take a fucking medical treatment. If you think the vaccine protects you from the disease, then you get the fucking vaccine. You can't make someone else take a medical treatment to save you, because it doesn't.
Okay.
How is that a gotcha moment? I don't understand. It's like, do you support lockdowns? It's a yes or no question. It's very simple. And that's why our questions really need to be pointed and direct when we're talking to these people, because you have to force them to reveal what they actually believe. Because if you don't, they'll just skate around it and they'll be like, well, I never said that. And then they'll do the opposite of what they was promising you. Right. And don't worry, white people. It's not just you. It's black people, too. Watch this, because black people have no love.
To help blacks or any other group, not giving a rip about anybody else, but putting whites first.
Amazing. Do you love white people?
I love everybody.
How about white people?
I love everybody.
Do you love white people?
I love everybody.
I'm only asking about whites.
I love everybody.
Do you love white people?
I love everybody. I love people of all stripes.
I didn't ask about everybody.
You're trying to get me to say things that it just isn't right. But the point I'm trying to make is, what I'm saying and what I've said is that I love everybody.
I didn't ask about everybody.
Everybody is included.
I didn't ask about that.
I told you I like everybody. That would have saved you a whole lot of time instead of going group by group by group. I love the Eskimos?
Would have saved me time when I asked that you love white people? Had you said no, wouldn't that have saved time?
Savage.
How is that? He's looking out for a gotcha moment. He's like, if I say I like white people, everybody's gonna call me a racist or an Uncle Tom for liking white people. It's like, yeah, but like, then just ask them, do you like black people? Or do you love black people? And then you can say, yeah, I love black people. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. If you really love them, you can say it. But they don't. Well, if, like Jesse said, if you would have just said, hey, I don't love white people, that would have saved a lot more time than trying to argue, well, I love all people. We're not talking about all people, man. I asked you a very direct question, but you don't. And that's a lie. He didn't love all people because he couldn't love white people. So it's not just you white people. It's everybody. It's a spiritual battle. It's a fight for your soul. And then here's a pure textbook definition of a radical left. This lady right here.
So you went into your classroom and you took the third graders, 8 and 9 years old. You discriminated against the blue eyes by being kind to the brown eyes, right?
Oh, absolutely. I was more than kind to the brown eyes. I was unkind to the blue eyes. I made the blue-eyed people sit in the back of the room because everybody knows that blue-eyed people are disruptive and they can't learn anyways. They might as well sit in the back of the room. I made them go last in lunch line because, you know, if they go first, they'll eat too much. I made them I gave the brown-eyed people 5 extra minutes of recess because they're all so bright that they deserve all these good things. I made the blue-eyed people couldn't be role leaders for the day because obviously they couldn't be good leaders. You don't want a blue-eyed person leading you because all blue-eyed people are not to be trusted. I was absolutely amazed. I separated my group according to the color of their eyes. I made the blue-eyed people wear armbands, which is what the Nazis did to the Jews during the Holocaust. I treated them as we treat on a daily basis in this country people of color. And they couldn't do anything wrong because any problem they had was because they had to sit beside a blue-eyed person. Any mistake they made was because they had blue-eyed teachers before me. I learned that you can tell somebody they're superior, treat them as if they are superior, and turn them into superior beings, superior learners, superior achievers. I learned that you can tell somebody they are an underachiever and that they are inferior, and they will live down to your expectations of them.
When I read this story, I was saddened by it because it seemed as though your overreaction to Martin Luther King assassination caused you to go into your classroom and traumatize other kids who had nothing to do with it.
If it's nonsense to do this exercise based on eye color with a white child for one day, if that's traumatizing, what does it do to children of color if you do it with them pre-birth and after death? You want to talk about traumatizing?
But it's not right to make those kids suffer for something that other people are doing. One wrong doesn't make another one right.
My students were totally ignorant about racism, which is actually colorism. They were totally ignorant about that. They used the N-word indiscriminately because they had been taught that it was right to treat people that way, and because they had never been on the receiving end of that treatment. They got educated that way in a way that changed the way they lived their lives to this day.
That's amazing.
And it changed the way their parents behaved in the home.
Had I been a parent and found out that you did that to my child, in the third grade, which is 8 or 9 years old, traumatized my child in that manner, I would have sued you and the school. So you feel nothing about what you did to those children?
I didn't do 2 of those children. I did 4 of those children.
By traumatizing them?
I didn't traumatize them. Are you traumatized by what's happened to you in this country?
Not at all. I was never traumatized. Let me tell you this. Black? I am as black as the ace of spades. But let me ask you this.
If you're as black as the ace of spades and haven't felt any...
Most of the discrimination I've had to encounter was from other black people. But let me ask, if what you're saying...
Where do other black people learn to discriminate against black people?
From their black leadership.
Oh, you think so?
Without a doubt. I grew up on a plantation. I grew up under the Jim Crow law down in Alabama. We had to work in cotton fields and doing all those things. Why do you... Hold on for a minute. I want you to answer this. Why didn't you see if what you're saying... I'm not going to answer that until you answer this. No, but hold on, Jane. Yeah, I'll answer that after you answer this. Why do you see black on black crime, black unemployment, black out of wedlock birth, abortion, and all the garbage that we see now? If racism was an issue, why didn't we see it more back then than we do today? I'll let you smoke on that for a minute. Jane, let me ask, are you a Christian?
Is that any of your business?
It is.
Are you a Christian?
I am, 100%. You must be pretty upset at the radical homosexuals for going after the Christians and trying to force them to accept a lifestyle that goes against God and the Christian values. That is discrimination like none I've ever seen. So you must be pretty upset at those folks, right?
I'm pretty upset at Christians who say there's only one way to live. I'm pretty upset at Christians who say deny how God made you and become the way I will accept you.
Are you upset at the radical homosexuals for going after Christians?
I'm upset at radical Christians for going after homosexuals.
Oh, you got it wrong. You got it backwards.
Well, one of us has it wrong.
That's you. You are
talking about colorism and the damage that has been done to people of color and people of all colors, including white people, by the idiocy of believing that skin color makes you a better or worse person. If you want to talk about that, I'll talk about that. Other than that, I'm not interested in this conversation.
Jane, calm down.
Listen,
calm down,
call
Jane.
somebody else.
Jane, calm down.
No,
you explain...
You can call me Ms. Elliott. Only my friends call me Jane. You can call me Ms. Elliott.
Jane.
You've proven that you are not one of my friends, okay?
Jane, you're out of control. Calm down. Let me ask.
Here.
Let me ask you.
No one says to me, you're out of control,
but
calm down, because they don't like what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but I don't have time for this. I have other things to do.
Hold on.
Call somebody else. All right? Thank you very much. It's been interesting.
She's running.
In your schools, teaching your children, there's women like this, and she's no better than the actual racist who separates people by skin color or by eye color or any stupid artificial trait. It's like, you're no better. You just got done traumatizing this classroom. It's like, all of that's evil, all right? And the opposite extreme. It's like, you didn't actually do anything. And she said it. She even said it herself. She said, if I didn't do that, they would walk around ignorant of race. Good. That's a good thing. Then they're not judging people based off of something stupid like your skin color. It's like you're traumatizing people. You're the villain in this story. You're evil. And that's evil. But it's under the guise of, I'm good. I'm being nice. I care about you people. I'm anti-racist. Propaganda. It's all propaganda terms to get you to do what they want you to do.
I have with me Dr. Bandy Lee. She is a forensic psychiatrist at Yale School of Medicine. You were the editor of a book called The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump, which is a book of essays that examine Trump's mental health. Explain to us what this book is all about.
Do we have a duty to warn about a dangerous president? Was the question we posed, and the answer came out yes. So we decided to put our analyses together in a book.
Have you ever examined the president?
None of us have. Came out that Americans are the most stressed population in the world.
But let me just ask that question first. To be so successful at making the country great again in the last 3 years, is that a sign of mentally ill?
I'm not sure what you're referring to as success.
He cut back on taxes. More people are working now. He's getting black people out of prisons. We are safer from the enemy around the world. Is that a sign, that type of success, is that a sign of mental illness?
I think a lot of the things you're attributing to him are actually decades, and he's reaping some of the benefits.
You now have men taking off their male body parts and attaching women body parts and putting on dresses and acting like women. Is that due to mental illness as well?
Well, that's somewhat a cultural phenomenon that may be in response to previous oppression and various notions about sexuality.
So is that cultural phenomenon happening due to mental illness?
I wouldn't call it a mental illness at this point.
Is it sane to do that to your body? To take off your God-given parts and put on fake parts and pretend?
For one thing is that our society is not healthy at this point.
Yeah.
So to respond in certain ways could be a response to that lack of health. It could be a corrective to the lack of health, or it could be a reflection of the lack of health. So I'm saying that one action is not ill or healthy, in a blanket way. We have to look at.
So are you saying that the Great White Hope, the President Trump, are you saying that he's mentally ill for making society better, but the men and women who are taking off their body parts and pretending to be the opposite sex are not mentally ill? Transgender is not mental illness?
Again, I'm not going to comment on people who are having transgender operations because I have not examined them. I have not.
But you haven't examined the president either. Have you ever examined the president?
None of us have as much information as I do on Mr. Trump. So let's just stick with Mr. Trump.
But you have not examined the Great White Hope either. How could you make a decision about him? Would you like it if someone said...
It's about dangerousness, which is not a diagnosis, does not require an examination, and is actually more accurate from information outside of an examination.
There are women who are killing their children inside of their wombs. Is that mental illness to kill unborn children? Is that mental illness?
Perhaps you're listening to Mr. Trump's rhetoric more than listening to the facts.
But my question is, because you're a mental health expert, is that due to mental illness that they're willing to kill children in the womb? And even after the baby is born, is that due to mental illness? I just need I'm black, I'm slow, and I need an answer to that. You're an expert. Is that due to mental illness?
Not slow, but I think you have a mistaken notion of mental illness.
That's why I'm asking you. Is that due?
It's something that cannot be answered in a yes or no. It requires an examination in this case because there's not enough public data.
How much do you need?
Again, I would like to stick with Mr. Trump, which is, I believe, the reason you're interviewing me for.
So you won't answer that. But concerning the president, this woman, Maxine Waters, out of California, a Democrat, she not only wanted impeachment, but she called for the violence of Trump supporters when you run into them in a cafe or something like that. Is Maxine Waters mentally ill as well?
Again, I don't have enough information on Ms. Waters. I would like to stick with Mr. Trump, please.
So you have never personally examined the Great White Hope, President Donald Trump, and you have a mental illness mentality about him when you have the crazy people out there dressing like women and dressing like men and saying encouraging violence.
They're not a danger to society in the way that Mr. Trump is. If he feels that he is fit for the presidency, he should be able to submit to an examination and pass it.
In closing, why would a man like the Great White Hope, President Trump, submit to a bunch of people who don't like him because he's a white, conservative, Christian male of power and making the country great again, when you got a bunch of liberal intellectuals who don't like him? Why would he submit to his enemies?
We would like him to receive the proper care. I am Christian, and I am...
You're a Christian?
Yes, I am.
And you support transgender and abortion and all that? How can you be a Christian and support evil?
I'm mainly concerned about our nation's safety and public health, as well as public mental health.
But you're not concerned you're not concerned as a Christian, you're not concerned about the soul of people who are destroying themselves by thinking that they're a man when they're a woman, or a woman when they're a man.
Of course I am.
And how about the unborn children?
Those are real concerns. Those are relatively small concerns compared to the much larger concern about human society and human civilization that is at stake.
Amazing.
I'm Catholic, so I should be concerned about unborn babies.
Yeah,
but
you
it's
should.
a small concern over the numerous deaths that we are propagating. Do you think Jesus was liberal?
No. You about to make me cuss. No, he wasn't liberal. Do you? You think Jesus was a liberal?
Because you seem to be using the word liberal for people who are trying to be ethical or truthful.
But liberals are not ethical. That's why we have such a messed up world, because the conservatives...
How do you know liberals are not ethical? Have you examined all of them yourself?
Because I've never seen a liberal that stood up for anything that's right and that's good. So that's why...
So if you make such blanket generalizations, then you have to be concerned about being influenced by propaganda or
by God. I'm being influenced by God. Does that count?
You're being control people. You gotta wake up. I'm sorry to tell you, but you gotta wake up. It's not gonna end well for you. It's not gonna end well for you following these people. They're idiots. They're dumb. It doesn't make any sense. But God bless. I hope you enjoy those 3 clips. If you just have to reach one person, and it feels like it's worth it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm black. God bless.